everybody, welcome back to 539. So actually a few years ago I got a email, and it was a tip for a place that was supposedly a graveyard that was completely falling apart. And I've been looking and looking and looking, and even though they gave me a fair indication of where it should be, nothing was showing up. Well, fast forward all these years later, I think I finally found it. Which is kind of going, see, I don't know if this is it. I just feel like this isn't the right place, but we're gonna go check it out, and then we're gonna head back over to the original location where I was told it would be. But originally, actually, I was told it was in the exact opposite direction here. Either way, we are here, so let's get out and see if this is the place, but it looks in really good condition, so I don't know. So the sign looks pretty amazing. There's some new stuff over to the left here. So I'm gonna try and keep it towards the historical section here. I am seeing some damage towards the back, which is what they reported, but I thought that they had said that there was a fence line of some sort. It's definitely suffering from some major decay to the writing on the stones here. But I'm still seeing some pretty incredible looking things here. Alright, this towards the back is what makes me think it is possible that this is the one. But it didn't seem to be to the extent that they were claiming, so again, I might be in the wrong place, but wow, that is a one big pile again. Something there too. Nothing on the other side here though. That may be a collection from numerous trees though. And over here, some more interesting restoration work. They've used some metal pieces here to reinforce the stone so that even if they further crack, they're still not going to fall over, which is a pretty good idea actually. And I'm seeing that method being used quite a few times. Almost every single stone that has at one time fallen over seems to be now propped up using that method. So yeah, I gotta definitely give props to the person that, although they probably didn't invent this method, for being smart enough to utilize that method, which seems to be, again, working really well for this location. But I'm still slightly confused and not 100% sure I'm in the place that I should be. But this will definitely make a cool little location for the channel for sure. So definitely not sorry that I stopped. Alright, let's continue going down this road, but we'll go ahead and get a little bit closer look at some of these memorials here. And it must be like stainless steel maybe that they're using, or potentially it wasn't done too long ago, as I don't see any signs of rust or tarnishing of any sort. An interesting GAR marker. It looks like it says post GAR. So any ideas what that means, let me know. Another case of a central stone here that doesn't seem to have any writing on it and only has the names and dates inscribed on these smaller individual markers here. This one's a little bit clearer just due to the fact that it has some tarnishing on the inside of the letters and numbers there. Let's head around and see if there's anything on the other side though. Oh, again, completely empty. Interesting. There's some stones up here that have been cleaned. You can tell by the coloring on them. It took me a while to kind of figure out exactly why some of them have this color, and it's because they actually sell a, I don't know if you would consider it a detergent or a bleach. I can't remember exactly what it was called, but it turns the stones these amazing white colors here. And I don't honestly know if some of them were this way even originally, but here we can see a member of the Masons that passed away in 1871 and a reverend of probably a local church here. It's very interesting. Alright, so gonna head towards the back here again. Try and see if maybe we can see any more signs that this is the place that we were given the tip for. Obviously, if that happens to be you out there, if you're remembering sending an email about a hidden little location here in the country, hit me up again. I can't remember the details on it. Unfortunately, I didn't really see it until too late, and so I've been trying to locate it, but let me know. Some more evidence here of some decay and possible destruction. Definitely a sign that this large memorial here has moved at one time. It's no longer part of any row, and in fact it's sort of intruding on this row here in a very, very odd sort of way, and really sticks out. So kind of an interesting situation. Not sure what to think of it or why it got moved originally. But as we get closer in here, we can see that some of the other stones have actually been affected by it, even though I think that this one here was actually just leaned up against it. Yeah, not its original location, I would highly, highly doubt, but I really don't know what can move such a large stone unless this place was so lost at one time that maybe a large piece of farm machinery accidentally bumped into it in high grass, or I don't know. It takes a lot of force to move something like that. So again, any ideas, let me know, but a little bit confusing to me. And we got this memorial here. It's kind of an interesting situation because it still looks like it is sinking, even though normally we would see sort of the opposite, where the tree is pushing it forward and it would fall over. It seems to be doing the exact opposite. So I don't know if there's erosion down in the root system and that's what's causing it to sort of sink in that area, or what the case is. So, another incredibly interesting last name I've never heard. Snodgrass or Snodgrass. And we're also approaching a very small marked off family section right here. Also with the name Snodgrass. Let me know if you've heard of that before. And something's actually been buried here. It's a little bit too small to be one of these, unless maybe it sunk really deep and then was replaced by a new one over the years. Or maybe it represents one that should be, no, I missed it. There actually is a third one over here. So that's interesting. I don't know. Maybe at one time there was another marked off section right here. It makes me wonder if there's another one buried like here. Huh. Strange. Either that or it's a completely buried memorial, or at least a part of one. Very interesting indeed. I really don't know what to think of that. It kind of looks like there should be another section marked off right here. But no matter which way we follow it, there doesn't seem to be a corresponding marker at any of the other corners. So that's kind of what leads me to believe either it was just an old replacement that was tossed aside for one of those, or potentially it could actually be an entire marker that was buried underneath the dirt. And I don't really know what this is right here. Kind of looks like ventilation for something. I don't know, it might be something farm related, so I'm not gonna really mess with it. But we'll make our way up to the front here, see what kind of historical items we can point out, and who knows. Ooh, there's a buried one right over here. Not too bad, but again, these yucca plants are really overgrown. Some sort of berries here. It's interesting that this has actually been bleached and cleaned up, but never actually stood back up on its own. You know, very old, from 1863. And you can see from the names here that it does not match and is not likely part of the family here. And it looks like there's evidence possibly of the original signage or gateway right here. I don't know that this would have necessarily been an entryway, at least not a drivable one, but may have been something that had a gate across it for people to walk through. But I'm seeing some smaller items here as we go around the front sections of the rows. This definitely appears to be a homemade marker here, and then there's an updated marker right behind it. And I know Pentecost is a particular sort of Christian church, but I've never heard of it as a last name. So I don't know if that's signifying that her last name was Cummins, but no, it looks, yeah, it does say Pentecost here too. So, interesting. Finding a lot of new last names that I haven't heard of before here. Alright, I think we've seen most of these here, but I do see that a few other people have the Pentecost name. Quite a few, actually. What is that? Firmer. The first name I haven't heard of either. So another case where the two stones here don't really appear to be connected in any way. They may be relatives, but it's two completely different types of stone, two different colors, and it looks like this here would have been a smaller version of what's actually behind it. We've actually explored most of the historical sections here. There's a few items that we might have missed. I'm going to try and find those. However, I want to first check around the edges, and then after that I would like to drive to where I first thought this place actually existed. It was incredibly deteriorated. We are now going to drive around to the location where I thought originally this place existed, and may potentially still exist. I don't, like I said, know that this is the actual location that I was looking for originally. So let's get turned around here and see what else we can find, or at least take a cool little drive through this, like I said, incredibly creepy looking place. Incredibly dangerous intersection, and this is the road it's supposed to be down. And in any minute here, we're going to kind of dive into the forested area. So somewhere right in here is where I was told that it might be. Okay, I thought maybe that was a pathway, but looking at it, it's actually somebody with a off-road vehicle tried to make it through. So this is supposedly the area. This right here was the other area I thought could potentially be it, but it doesn't actually look like it is. And instead I was told, from what I could understand, that it was on this side of the road here. And could be in the high grass there, I don't really know. But this place is kind of strange. No insult to the people living here. Some of you may end up watching this. It's just there's tons of weird abandoned buildings along this lake, and I don't know. There's something. Either I'm misreading it or it just feels unsafe. That's another area here that I thought it potentially could be. Just this weird kind of, you can see some of these places are completely abandoned, but it seems like some of them are being fixed up by potentially squatters, but I just don't really know. Like, some of them have tags on them and all kinds of weird things, but it's supposed to be in here somewhere. That's all I know. Well, other than the kind of vague directions that I thought kind of pointed me to where I was originally signifying it should be. And no one seems to be really out besides that one person. I saw one other person kind of out and about here. So not really anybody that I feel like I could even ask. It's up here on the hill again is what I thought potentially could be it, but it looks like just an old farmhouse that was actually torn down. See the signs that are there. It says private property. Although my only thought is that the private property is that way, but there's no sign of any gravestones whatsoever. Okay, so we're cutting to the other side of this road. There is this weird abandoned building. I kind of feel like I'm gonna have to do several passes here because I'm seeing several potentials, and I might actually have been wrong, but there's an old abandoned schoolhouse clearly being taken care of and owned by somebody. Oh, the truck I just passed by turned around and is like speeding to catch up with me. Potential is that it's on this hill up here, and I guess the other is that there's a graveyard looking thing directly back, but I don't think that that's actually it. I'm trying to see if I see anything sticking out. I don't. I don't see anything over there either. And I don't know that at this point it's quite safe to get out and just walk across these people's fields, so I don't know. But there's definitely a lot of stuff going on in here. either we explored it or it's really well hidden. Take a close look here. This again is a potential. Problem is there's no place to park, and it doesn't seem like there's any entryway either. I don't know, I might be right about that building. I'm gonna do some more research. I don't just want to walk out there and end up getting yelled at. If I can find the person that gave me the tip, it feels like they might be able to show me where this place is without rustling any feathers. So gonna call it a day here. Thanks guys for watching. Appreciate you all. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed today's adventure, and I will see all of you in the next adventure.